something was coming. The f***ing ones. He could have got $100 bills for fuck's sake. The amount he's throwing if it wasn't $100 bills would have been about 5-6 grand. But he still takes the ones.
Another day, another stop on the Mayweather-McGregor hype tour. Hey, welcome to SI Now. It's Friday, July 14th. I'm Rumi alongside Sir Carter.
I forgot my giant mink today.
I know, well, it's raining outside, so I guess you can be forgiven. It's Maggie and it's Robin. It was a show last night.
Yeah, Maggie, you were actually a part of the monstrosity. Yeah. What was it like in the arena, the atmosphere at Barclays Center?
Yeah, was I part of the problem last night? Is I not part of the solution? Listen, it was electric. It was absurd, frenzied. It was all being done with a wink and a nod. And I have no doubt now, after watching this crowd and hearing the conversations, that this will break the all-time pay-per-view record, 4.6 million buys. That was from Mayweather and Pacquiao. You mentioned, Conor's coat, Floyd draped in the Irish flag. They were able to escalate the drama and the foolishness to a place that I didn't even think that we could go. We got there, and now we're going to have even another stop on the tour when they go to London today. There is something, though, that's a little bit more serious, and this was really an underlying story that's now becoming an overriding story. And this was really about the racist and racially insensitive comments that Conor has been accused of making. And I'll say this, after the performance, when they were backstage behind the scenes, and I got a chance to interview both of the fighters, they are really trying to walk this back. I don't think either one of them wants this fight to be about race or to have these racial undertones. For Conor, this does absolutely nothing for his brand. If he wants to go to Hollywood someday, carrying baggage of being potentially racist or of saying racist things will not help him in his next endeavor, whatever that may be. For Floyd, this is also very tricky because when Floyd is on the red carpet talking about how Conor was being disrespectful to black women, Floyd went to prison for hitting a black woman. It is very difficult for Floyd, I think, to take a moral high ground here because he has this in his past. You saw it on stage. I don't think you're going to see it again in London. I honestly think that both of these guys are not it's not they're not equipped to talk about race. I don't think they want or should want to talk about it in this forum when they are clearly promoting a fight. And for that reason, I think you're going to see that kind of language from Conor definitely being pulled back.
Well, I think what you've seen, too, is it was maybe thrown out there to be inflammatory, to hype this fight up, and they didn't realize how quickly the gas would hit that flame. And when it combusted, and that's the direct first question Conor McGregor is being answered, and Floyd Mayweather then has to respond to that, that is taking them out of their element a little bit. It's actually, a much more serious metaphor for Conor McGregor going from the octagon to a boxing ring, because these guys are not really the people we're looking for to be the lead voices on such a topic. Being
backstage, the first question or second question that any of the fighters or anyone involved with the fight were getting were direct. Is Conor a racist? That is not, even in this hype machine of every last dollar and getting every last penny, I honestly do not believe that is the conversation that they want around this fight. Of course, though, we can look at how the role of race has played a role throughout this press tour. Take a look.
I'm trying to think which one was Rocky J. That was where they had them at Celebrity Gym, and there's the dancing monkeys in the gym and all.
I want you to sing it to me, and I want you to dance for me. You sing it, you dance. Dance for me, boy. Do they not know I'm half black? Yeah. I'm half black from the belly button down.
He called blacks monkeys. I think that's totally disrespectful. But it's all about maturity. It's all about maturing.
To try and put that on me like that is ridiculous. So, it's ridiculous to even think something like that. I'm prejudiced to nobody. You know what I mean? I'm big into the culture as well. So, I paid respect. You know what I mean? That let them say what they want.
You can see it right there, Robin. Conor McGregor has perhaps the best mic skills that we've ever seen. He was flustered when having to respond.
I've seen and read now a lot about how race is selling this fight more than anything else. I don't think that's the case, but I do think it's a factor. You know, I don't think it's one knockout punch selling this fight more than a series of combinations. You have the curiosity of it all. You have MMA fans, you have boxing fans, you have the Irish background of McGregor. So many things that go into it. But it certainly has been something that has been talked about a lot, and I think it was being used to raise the stakes, the animosity a little bit. But the problem therein lies, aside from the people who are really just like Conor McGregor fans, you see a lot of people now saying, I can't root for either person in this fight because of Floyd's domestic violence history and now because of what Conor McGregor has said. And you can only go so far if everyone hates the participants. There's a certain level of lovability to a good heel, and you don't want to cross that line into, you know, a genuine hate and vitriol.
Yeah, they can both be the villain, but they can't both be the bad guy. But if you were at this presser last night, it is so clear that Conor is the favorite. I mean, the MMA crowd was out in much more full force than the boxing crowd. I think boxing fans are looking at this like a joke. They think it's really disrespectful to the sport in a lot of ways. And I asked Floyd about that. You know, people who don't think this should count as your 50th win when you do eventually win. And he said, listen, everyone's entitled to their opinion, or hey, they're not the ones who have to get into the ring with him. I am taking him seriously. So they were saying all the right things. But no, this is a pro Conor crowd. Yet nobody wants to be associated with someone who's making racist comments. So that's why I feel like you're going to see it being pulled back. Now, beyond race, there were other very memorable moments from our time behind the scenes at Barclays Center. Take a look at this. This coat, how much did it cost?
$41,000.
That's not true.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Maybe it won't be a good ending for me either if I keep blowing this. I know, I just saw it today. It was nice and hot. It was nice and hot, and I didn't want to wear the top, so I didn't wear the top. And then I was shopping on Fifth Avenue, and then I saw the coat, and I said, F it, I'll buy the coat.
I choose fortune over fame. Yeah, he may have more fans cheering for him, but I got more money in my bank account.
He's a guy, he talks a lot of He got a lot of money. He got a lot of broads. He got all the cars. He got all the houses. He's living a dream.
A boo and a cheer is the same thing, as long as they're acknowledging that they know who I am at the end of the day.
Whether you're the greatest boxer of all time, the greatest defensive boxer of all time, or a two-time world champion in mixed martial arts, anything can happen when people start throwing punches.
Look, like I said up there, he's about to be bankrupt. He is going to crumble. The money's going to dry up. It's not going to be a nice ending for Floyd.
You know, Maggie, these press conferences, I think, have already done their job. I've called them the live-action version of clickbait. Yes. But they may want to, in a weird way, dial it back just a little bit, because part of the tone I got after last night was, all right, you know, we've now seen this tomfoolery go about as far as it can possibly go. So
I don't, shark jumping territory.
Yeah, shark jump. You can't really turn it up to 11, like Spinal Tap here, and maybe trying to maybe focus on the actual fight could help a little bit more, because the curiosity, the spectacle is already sold.
Well, they're in a precarious position now because they have this other press tour tonight that's in London, but they also now have 6 weeks before the fight. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you've done so much good by hyping this fight to the level that it is a fever pitch. We have 12,000 people in New York yesterday on their feet, screaming, chanting, they're drinking. I mean, they're doing such a good job of hyping up this fight. Now you just don't want to do anything to ruin that. You know, you're not going to be able to stay, as you said, turn to 11 all the way until August 26th. But you don't want to do anything that's going to drastically now take away from all of this. It's not goodwill. It's hype. It's just pure hype. You don't want to take anything away from what you've built, because they have done a good job. I was also in the building for Mayweather-Pacquiao, and the 15 seconds, 30 seconds before that bell rang and that first round got off was probably the most electric I've ever felt, even more than Super Bowls before a kickoff. I've never felt an energy in a room like that. Last night at Barclays, it was approaching that for a press conference. So to get to that level and to get the fans as invested as they are, now they just don't want to screw it up.
Palpable.
It was chills. Yesterday, SI swimsuit model Myla Dalbesio stopped by our studio to take a look back at some of her favorite swimsuit photos. Enjoy this.
I'm Myla, and I'm a Sports Illustrated swimsuit model, and I'm here with SI Now to do a photo reflection. I love this suit. It was so fun playing with it because all the fringes would flap around, and also it's like completely impractical for swimming. Yes, this shot, the goggles. I just couldn't understand why I was wearing goggles. But I'm very into the under boob. Yeah, I loved this one. Another non-swimsuit. I think MJ is like really famous for putting girls in non-suits. And I loved this non-suit, my like little wet t-shirt moment, amazing. This is one of my favorite photos, but I also feel like it looks like I'm gonna cut you. This one is good. I don't think you can see my butt in the crop right now, but that's the best part, is the butt.
Hope you enjoyed that. Meanwhile, the NBA offseason, it can be, Robin, like whiplash a little. After a trade goes down, it gets scrutinized, it gets graded, and then we get word of the other proposed trades, and we get a second wave of wonder of just what could have been. So the latest NBA what if comes by the way of this Woj bomb that the Pacers had offered Paul George to the Warriors for Klay Thompson. Now, the Warriors declined, but George was skeptical that the league would have let this happen. Listen to this.
Yeah, I think that would have been the Chris Paul to LA situation where they denied that trade. Yeah, I was aware of it. You know, I would have looked forward to it, of just being, again, in a good situation and a chance to compete for a championship.
Understatement of the century. I would have looked forward to it. Yes, joining the Warriors seems like it leads to good things, but I'm not sure if the league would have stepped in here, considering how equal Klay Thompson and Paul George are, at least in the numbers. But should the Warriors have said yes to this trade?
Well, I can't believe there was no follow-up there. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, that the league would have said no. I mean, who did they get in this trade? Sabonis and Oladipo?
Yeah, Oladipo,
I mean,
yeah.
Klay Thompson for Paul George would have been great return. I would not have made the trade, though, if I was the Warriors. Not because it's not fair, but because of fit. You know, you already have Kevin Durant. You already have the secondary ball handler to Steph Curry, the secondary playmaker, or maybe the primary playmaker at times, at least in isolation situations. And Klay Thompson is unique. He's like a super 3-and-D player because he can go out there even when he's not scoring and lock down defensively, as we saw him do throughout the playoffs. And then he also doesn't need the ball in order to be successful. So when you have Curry, when you have Durant, and to a certain degree Draymond Green is also a guy who likes to have the ball in his hands and play make a little bit, then you don't need someone else who enjoys having the basketball. So I think Klay Thompson is actually the perfect complementary player. He just happens to be a complementary player who's capable of giving you darn near 40 and a quarter.
Yeah, or is responsible for maybe one of the biggest wins in Warriors history, which was back last year when they played against Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals and he went off. I mean, this is the thing. You look at the numbers, they are almost identical. Klay a little bit better, 3% shooter, 3-point shooter, and a little better effective field goal percentage. But then Paul George has got the rebound, so it almost kind of evens itself out. I mean, I agree with you. I probably would not make this trade just because you got a good thing, don't mess with it. I mean, let's not make it more complicated than that. Also, Paul George has said, and I know joining the Warriors is different, eventually might want to go to LA. Now, he said that's a little overblown. He told our Lee Jenkins that he's going to see what happens in Oklahoma City, and all he wants to do is win. But if he ever does want to make a move, I mean, I'm not sure if Klay Thompson would ever leave. He's so in the fabric of that team. Of course, he's been in trade rumors, but I just wouldn't do it just because I don't think that what it gets you back is enough for what it might possibly take away. And you remember how upset, allegedly, Steph Curry and some of the other players were when they found out that Klay Thompson for Kevin Love was possibly on the table. So they want him around. It's led to 2 titles. I don't know why they would mess with a good thing.
Yeah, how could you it's not even just like a good thing.
It's a good one.
It's a historically great thing.
Yeah.
You can't mess with a historically great thing. The antithesis of historically great, the Knicks, have reportedly hired Kings Vice President of Basketball Operations, Scott Perry, as their new GM. His first order of business, Maggie, appears to not be trading Carmelo Anthony, but seeing if Melo is open to staying with the team. Do you see Carmelo playing in New York this season?
I see him starting his season in New York. I don't know if he ends his season in New York. And that might be the smartest play for the Knicks. I heard Daryl Morey on Bill Simmons' podcast say something interesting. He goes, why are teams in such a rush to have their perfect squad in July? I mean, I think that if you are looking at this Western Conference arms race that's building, if I'm the Knicks and if I have this piece in Melo, maybe I'm actually looking for a trade deadline deal. Maybe I'm looking for a team that is very desperate and that is willing to part with something future assets, feeling like they're playing for the here and now, whereas the Knicks are clearly looking for the future finally. So I'm almost thinking I stick, unless I can get something really good here. You're talking about 4-team trades and 5-team trades. Maybe I just hold on for a second. Everyone take a breath. Melo still says he loves New York. Some of the fans are still behind him. And I say, okay, maybe I can pump the brakes and wait till the trade deadline.
It doesn't have to happen right now. And Melo's value, or at least your leverage, could not be lower.
Right.
So you see what you can do with him on the squad, and more importantly, you see what you can do to raise his trade value. So maybe instead of 5 cents on the dollar, you can get 30 cents on the dollar or something along those lines. So it seems like an astute move. And by the way, credit where it's due, since we crush them all the time, there has been a lot of positive feedback to this possible hire for the Knicks, because we have talked about the Sacramento Kings in a different tune, and that coincides a bit with Perry's tenure there. Maggie, 2 guys named Matt played horse, but only one of them was the Red Mamba. Check out former NBA player Matt Bonner taking on the Crossovers' Matt Dollinger.
Hey everyone, Matt Dollinger here from Sports Illustrated, joined by the legendary Matt Bonner here today. Matt, as you might know, has won more NBA championships than Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Reggie Miller, Karl Malone, Tracy McGrady, all those combined. You've won more championships than them. Do you ever think about that?
Never. Not until now. But
okay.
Thank you for bringing that up and making me look good.
We're gonna play a little horse, which probably isn't a great idea since Matt's a 10-year veteran and I'm a 10-minute veteran, so I don't know how well it's gonna go.
You played 10 minutes in the NBA?
I played 10 minutes. Pop let me in when no one was looking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Anyways, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
I was born ready.
All right, let me bring something out really quick. This is Matt Bonner's shot chart. As you can see, Matt is deadly from 3-point range, which is why I'm not gonna shoot any threes. But as you can see, long twos, not a strength of Matt Bonner's. I think I've got him here. The bad part about it is that I'm not good at long twos either, which might be the struggle.
Oh, you lost control. My first shot is gonna be a left-handed layup.
I knew he was gonna go left-handed. Oh, got it.
That was ugly as sin, but went in.
Thank you.
Classic horse shot over the backboard.
All right, that one's tougher.
H.
Whew, H.
Bounce shot.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm back.
Right, you got control.
Okay. I got a trick shot. Is that cool?
Yep.
All right, Matt. I did my research on Matt. I know his strengths. I know his weaknesses. I'm going to distract you on this next shot.
All right.
We're going to shoot a sandwich. If you don't know, Matt Bonner is a sandwich connoisseur.
Oh, that's too bad.
That was too bad.
And everybody knows in horse,
yeah,
you get one athletic trick shot. So
Oh,
I'm
is that
gonna
right?
dunk the sandwich.
Oh, no.
There you go.
I don't know. Reverse layup. All right, that's over.
All right, the packaging, I'm gonna save this for later.
They
I'm not
told-
gonna waste this. Yep. Oh. There you go.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Oh. H.
Wasting no time, NBA 3. Now, that was the Steph Curry heat check.
Right here. Uh-oh, he's heating up.
No problem. God, that was
R. Around the back, through the legs.
Oh, no. Let's see what this looks like. Get out of there!
Oh!
Get out of there! There we go.
Oh, I got, oh.
Not going.
3-pointer.
All right, here we go. Oh, thought I had it. Thought it. H-O-R-S to H-O.
All right, last one, the Manu Ginobili Euro step.
Okay, that's a good one. This could be it. Oh.
Uh-oh. Ginobili.
I don't know if Manu Ginobili would say that counts. I don't know. Oh, it's over.
Oh.
It's over.
How can you lose like that?
Matt, pleasure playing with you.
Well, thanks for having me.
I hope it was half as entertaining for you as it was for me.
It was entertaining.
Okay.
You know, next time I'm going to be more prepared.
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting you to be able to make any shots.
It's usually the standard in my
kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
Well, I probably won't be making a lot more, so I'm happy I made a few on camera. So
you want to go split the sandwich?
Let's split that sandwich
All
right now. Let's do it. All right, thanks.
Rob, in New York City, it's a lot like bat flips in baseball. You either love it or you hate it, so count Bryce Harper among those not crazy about the Big Apple. Now, of course, he doesn't like being booed by Mets fans. They're division rivals. But Harper says after 3 days in New York, he's over the city. What is this, Vegas? Robin, many believe that the Yankees will be the ones to offer the bank vault to Bryce Harper when he becomes a free agent in 2019. Do you think Harper will suddenly find a love for New York once he's a free agent?
Well, there's one caveat to this entire conversation, right? Some people come visit New York and they just go to like Times Square or Midtown. You have to go see New York
He's going to the
in
Bronx.
all its glory.
Or to Queens.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, a lot of traffic up there in the Bronx all the time. Always.
He's outer borough.
But as far as Bryce Harper goes, I mean, I'm buying what he's saying a little bit here, and we're maybe underselling DC and the Nationals and what they're trying to build there. They've been very successful, obviously, of late. They're a relatively new franchise as well, and he has built his name there. So I see that. I see that aspect where not everyone is just going to say, okay, the Yankees are offering me a ton of money, I'm going there, because it's not like he's going to get lowballed in Washington.
No, he's going to be able to make a boatload no matter what, but I think playing with Aaron Judge could be very appealing. I think that if the Nationals don't break through and win a World Series, this could be a little of like we saw with the LA Clippers. Maybe they just get to a point where they feel like it's not working. And I know the sports are very different, and, you know, moving around pieces is a lot different. If they had a bullpen, maybe we'd be talking a lot differently about the Nationals. But maybe it goes to a point where you feel like you've done all you can do with one franchise and you just can't break through and win that World Series. Also, Harper, extremely young right now. We know that. But the sense of urgency to win a World Series, especially for someone like him who has been called greatest player, best, face of the league, whatever, that's going to start to weigh on him as well. I think sponsors become very much influential in that way. Maybe they want Bryce Harper in New York. If that does anything, maybe they want him on a super team with Aaron Judge. I think that sort of pressure on these athletes is real. So I'm not ruling it out. I think he could suddenly start to very much love New York City.
Well, we've seen comments like these before that have changed. It's not exactly like they were etched into stone and proclaimed from the top of a mountain, right? I mean,
he said he wants to be like Cal Ripken and Derek Jeter, though, and build his entire career in one spot. Now he's comparing himself to the greats.
Well, we'll put it this way. If I'm betting on where Bryce Harper will wind up, Washington Nationals will stay there.
I don't know. I'm willing to go a tiny bit, mini bet. I'd spin the wheel to say that he would come to New York City. We'll have to do that next week. Of course, the National Series against the Reds isn't the only thing happening this weekend. Check this out. It's time for the Weekend Drive presented by Toyota. Let's go places. We'll start in Cleveland, Ohio, where the U.S. men's national team takes on Nicaragua in the final match of the group stages in the Gold Cup. Jordan Morris, the star of Wednesday's win over Martinique, gives his key to moving on to the quarterfinals this weekend.
It always feels good to score, but it's all about the team, and especially in a tournament like this, it's about getting the 3 points. So for me, you know, going out every day in practice and in games, and of course trying to do the best that I can and improve myself to the coaching staff, but in the end, you know, fight for the team and play for the team and do whatever I can to help get the win.
The U.S. goes into Saturday's match with 4 points and atop the Group B standings. Next, we head to Wimbledon, where Venus, not Serena, is in the finals, taking on Garbiñe Muguruza this Saturday. Williams has won Wimbledon 5 times, and it's her 9th appearance in the finals. And while this is a familiar opponent, the two have never played each other on grass.
You know, we played a number of matches. I don't know how many, but we definitely have played. I've never played her on grass, so that becomes definitely a different factor. And I'll have to see what's working, and I'll want to try to continue to play like I've had in all these matches that I've played so far. And I haven't really seen her matches, honestly. Even this last one before I didn't see. So I'm not sure exactly what she's doing, so I'll have to see what happens in the final.
Venus looking for her 6th Wimbledon title, but it will not be easy. Finally, we head to Brooklyn, New York for the final round of the Formula E 2016-2017 season. This is the first time a Formula E race will take place in New York City, and Sports Illustrated's own Joseph Fourier caught up with driver Oliver Turvey.
Really excited to be racing here in New York in Formula E. I think that we've shown all season we've had strong qualifying pace, so certainly hoping to fight for pole position. And then after that in the race, hopefully we'll be able to keep up the front and fight for a podium position.
Oliver Turvey and the Neo Formula E team has high hopes heading into this race. And that's what's in store for this weekend.
Maggie, a couple of photos made headlines yesterday. One of former MLB slugger Sammy Sosa, who appears to have undergone a fairly radical transformation, leading to a lot of reaction on social media. It's just a pretty stunning image when you actually
It's not how we
it
remember Sammy Sosa looking. The hat, too, was a bit unfortunate. That's a bold statement, that hat.
Here's one tweet from Chris Vila saying Sammy Sosa really on his way to becoming the first Invisible Man. We have another tweet that compares Sammy Sosa to Snagglepuss. When I see these tweets, and I saw a lot of them yesterday, Maggie, I mean, I guess to a certain degree they're funny, but I don't know exactly what's going on with the guy. But my instant snap reaction is kind of like, this is sad to see the way Sammy Sosa looked in his prime, Mark McGwire, home run chase, when he also underwent a little bit of a transformation, perhaps, to Sammy Sosa
from
now.
From the inside out.
Yeah.
That one was from the inside out. I'm actually kind of surprised that we don't see a little bit more of this. Not this specifically, but guys who are athletes who kind of have trouble aging. That's what I saw when I saw this photo. Aging is really difficult, I think, for everybody. I think for athletes, it's probably even more difficult because your prime usually is when you're young and full of life and vibrant, and usually that's your best look, and people will always go back and associate you with that time. And people always say that athletes sort of die 2 deaths. It's first when you retire, and then actually when you do unfortunately pass away. And I think it can be hard to come to grips with life after your sport, and you're constantly reminded of the younger, better version of yourself. And I think that could be difficult.
The other picture that made news was not a sad occasion. That was of Queen Bee, who broke her own Instagram record. You needed an equation to figure it out. For fastest to 1 million likes with the reveal of the 2 new members of the Carter family, Rumi and Sir Carter.
We got some tweets here, right? This one comes from Kingsley. Beyonce wrote, Sir Carter and Rumi, not Sir and Rumi Carter. So is Rumi not a Carter, or is Sir Carter Carter? It's like some who's on first joke. Is it going to be Sir Carter, Knowles Carter?
I don't know exactly. One thing I do know, though, is it's hard to disrespect a boy named Sir. No matter what the context, you're giving him detention, you still have to refer to him as Sir.
Like that. I just love that, that photo is unbelievable. Beyonce just keeps nailing it. I'm a fan. I'm part of the Bayhive, so count me as one who's just happy they're going to be procreating, just creating more awesome, hopefully artistically special babies.
I wonder if they were born at 444.
Now that would be something. Did you see at the press conference how Conor gave Floyd a 444 CD?
No, I didn't.
I was so shocked. Like, CDs? Where do you even buy one of those? You pick one up at Sam Goody?
They put the bonus tracks just on the physical CD, and I want to hear them, but I realized I don't have any way to play a CD. My computer doesn't have a CD thing. My car doesn't have a CD thing. So I'd just be trying to, hear it with my eyes.
That happened to me recently with a DVD. I was like, thanks. I don't have a place for it.
I get the DVD screeners sent to me for the Oscar movies, and I'm too lazy to actually put them in a DVD machine and switch the inputs. You got to go over there and figure all that out. Can't do it. Can't deal with it.
It's 2017. How could they honestly think that we're going to watch a DVD at this point? Oh, man. Well, thank you for watching SI Now. I hope you enjoyed it. We're streaming live.
We're digital.
Because we're the future. Have a great weekend. Of course, we'll see you on Monday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And keep it locked to SI.com for all the latest news and headlines. I'm sure plenty more will come out of the fourth and final Mayweather-McGregor press conference. If we're even calling it a press conference, it should be called something else. The hype train. It's out of the station, everyone. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Debacle.